Hey chefs, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm so excited to show you guys one of my favorite recipes, simple and easy for the winter time, beef stew. So without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the video. To get started, we want to make sure that we have our onion, 3 carrots, celery, and some garlic. So for this recipe, I like to make this during the winter time. It's just really hearty. And then as for the vegetables, you don't need to have perfect cuts. It's really just some quick rough chops here. Some quick rough chops, nothing perfect. And then I put it off onto my sheet pan that I have off to the side to keep my mise en place nice and organized. So for our carrot, we just want to do them into little circles. Like I said, we're just doing little quick rough chops. So I'm gonna do some slices on the carrots. And for the celery, I'm actually only going to be using about 3 stalks of celery. So 1, 2, and 3. And we're just gonna do the same to the celery. Some rough chops, some quick slices. And you're just gonna need about 5 whole garlics, 5 whole pieces of garlic. Alrighty chefs, so your mirepoix is all set. It's time to get started on the beef, which is the star of the show, of course. So go ahead and make sure you get yourself a bowl and the seasonings that you need. Remember to check the description box below for those ingredients. And let's get started. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and start getting the beef seasoned up. I add about a tablespoon of salt. And then I do about 3/4 of a tablespoon of pepper. Then about 1/2 of a teaspoon of basil leaves. And then I add about 1/2 a teaspoon of rosemary, 1/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder. And then I take some sprigs of thyme and I actually grab about maybe 3 to 5. And then I just go ahead and add that on in. Look, you make your beef stew your way, I make it my way, all right? Then I go ahead and I add this thing called Gravy Master, also known as browning. And I add about a tablespoon of that. And that's just gonna help with the color and overall seasoning. So then you wanna go ahead and let that marinate for about 20 minutes or so. Or if you want to do this overnight, that is completely fine as well. However, for the sake of the recipe, I'm gonna let that sit for about 20 minutes and then we're gonna get started with cooking the rest of it. Alrighty chefs, so we have our meat seasoned and has marinated with the given amount of time needed. And we have our mirepoix already cut up and set, ready to go. So now it is time to actually get started with the rest of this recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn my heat on. So my heat's on about like high heat-ish because I do want to get a really nice good sear on the beef. So I'm gonna go right on ahead and add some olive oil to the pan. So when I put that olive oil in, I'm only putting about 1.5 ounces of olive oil. So our pot is nice and hot. I can tell by how liquefied the oil is getting. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in my beef. I love using the browning because what's really great about it is, like I said, it adds that color that we are looking for. We've achieved the color that we're looking for. I'm actually gonna go ahead and add this over to my slow cooker. So I'm gonna transfer this meat right into my slow cooker that is set to 250 degrees. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add about 1 ounce again of olive oil. And I'm gonna immediately add my carrots on in. That is gonna take the longest to cook, so go ahead and add your carrots first, followed by your onion, and then your celery. Lower that heat. So now I'm gonna grab my spoon. Just get a nice toss on these. And now I know you see that fond at the bottom just sticking to the pan. We're gonna get that lifted up when we start to deglaze. Add a little bit more oil. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, a dash of chili powder. So now that we have our vegetables lightly caramelized, I'm gonna go right on ahead and add some tomato paste. And that's just about a tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm gonna work that in and get that coated. And add some crushed tomatoes. And that's just about 1/2 cup of crushed tomatoes. Now we're gonna go right on ahead and add our beef broth. And so I just added about 16 ounces of beef broth, also known as 2 cups. So we've added our beef broth. We're getting that beautiful color that we're looking to see. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly season. We have reached a boil with our broth. And just so we can ensure we have enough, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water to dilute the amount of sodium that's here, and add about 1 cup of water. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer that. Alrighty guys, so I have the stew all into one pot, and I'm gonna let it cook on about 250 degrees for about 2 hours or so. We're gonna check back within 1 hour, see how it's doing, and then 2 hours. Yes, 2 hours. Low and slow is the best way, so I'll see you soon. Alrighty friends, so I've had this stew going for quite some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually thicken the sauce. And the way that we're gonna do that is we're gonna do something called sanger, meaning to lightly dust the top with flour. Alrighty chefs, so I'm really glad that we got to spend this time together, and I really hope you enjoy your new winter dish that I know is gonna hit the spot. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye chefs!